All right, we're going to continue with our case study now. If you happen to log out or close your browser, we're just going to log back in here. And once we get signed in, we'll go to the file folder, open that up, and this will allow us to look at our list of saved projects. We can open the Sun Prairie Public Library. That'll take just a second to load. Now, everything that we did previously in the project and design tabs is saved here and ready to go. So next we're going to take a look at the schedule tab. And not a whole lot that we're going to change here. Again, this gives us a visual representation of the schedules, some options we can change about it. Now in this case, what we actually want to do is take a look at the weekend schedule for heating and cooling set point. And this is showing that the building is actually open a little bit later on the weekends. We got a little bit more occupancy, a little bit less occupancy, but a little bit later operating on the weekends. So we're going to change that. So the schedule type, we're going to switch this to a simplified schedule. And it's not open till 8 p.m. on the weekends. It's open till 7 p.m. Now, the schedules are not a question of baseline. The schedules are a question of how the building is actually going to be used. So that's why it's important to make sure we adjust the schedules for the building to match how it's actually going to be used. Now, that's the only change that we're going to make right now at the schedule, but you'll see that we could also make some adjustments to thermostats, load fractions, and other parts of the building schedule as well. Next, we're going to take a look at the baseline. And there's two different things that we can do with the baseline tab. Now, all of these blue values have been loaded as defaults, and a lot of them are values that come straight out of the baseline energy codes that we've selected. So we probably don't want to make any changes there. If we were interested in looking at an existing building, we might make some changes, but for this project, we're assuming that all of the existing portion of the building is smaller than the expansion, and we're assuming that things like the roof and walls are going to be brought up to the same code level as the expansion parts of the building. However, we are going to change one thing, and that's this occupant density, because the Sun Prairie Public Library actually has a media center inside which has a full-time staff. So that means that there's a portion of the building which is going to have higher occupancy than a typical library would have. So we need to increase the occupant density. And the way that we do that is by reducing this foot squared per number. That allows us to pack more people into the building essentially. So we're going to lower that from 120 down to 100. But we're not going to make any other changes here. Things like glazing, lighting, hot water, ventilation, these are again coming straight out of the energy code. So we're going to assume that our baseline building is meeting the requirements of the energy code. And that's it for schedules and baseline. We'll go ahead and save. And in the next video, we'll take a look at measures and results.